2022 has been a very busy year for me in terms of car purchases and sales. This weekend, I just bought my third brand new vehicle of the year, and I've also sold 4 vehicles this year, and I'm currently in the process of trying to sell one more. So this weekend, I picked up the all-new 2023 Toyota BZ4X, which is the first all-electric vehicle from Toyota. I've had the order in for quite a while now, but it's been a slow process, and no, the wheels have not fallen off just yet. I'll keep you guys apprised if anything changes in that department. Now, technically, the BZ4X is a replacement for the 4Runner, which I sold a few months ago. I convinced my wife to drive the Lightning in the meantime, but this is for her. She had always wanted a 4Runner, really liked it when we first got it, and then the novelty kind of wore off over time. She decided she wasn't so much into driving trucks and wanted something that was a little bit smoother. And so the BZ4X is here to take its place. Well, there's no denying that the styling on the BZ4X is controversial, and I'll admit that I was skeptical when I first saw it, but as I gave it more time, it started to really grow on me. And I think one of the reasons for that is I started to realize that it's got a lot in common with the Lexus lineup and the RX model in particular, which has always been one of my favorite Lexus models. I think given that it's an all-electric vehicle, having a more modern, edgy styling ties in well. Now, one thing worth noting is that the BZ4X is a sibling to the Subaru Solterra. Toyota and Subaru co-developed the vehicles, and so they're essentially the same with a few minor aesthetic differences, and then the Solterra is only available in all-wheel drive, while the BZ4X is available in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. BZ4X stands for Beyond Zero, and then 4X is the sub-model. I'm not crazy about the naming scheme, but wasn't enough reason not to buy the vehicle. Toyota's planning on additional BZ models in the future. This is the limited model, and it's all-wheel drive, so it comes heavily loaded with features. One of the main reasons I wanted the limited is the larger set of wheels that we get. I think that they really tie in well with the styling. The more basic models have a wheel design that just doesn't do it for me. This was a must-have, and I've got to say that for, electric vehicle, these are really nice looking wheels. A lot of electric vehicles have pretty kind of funky looking wheel designs. One thing that's definitely, controversial and different about the styling on the BZ4X is this front end with this black piece that comes down but then also ties in right here. I was a little skeptical of that at first. It does look better in person. I do think that maybe it would have looked better if they'd cut it down this direction, but it's different for sure. One thing that's also kind of cool with this piece is the air actually passes through right there, so you can see the tire peeking through. Supposedly for aerodynamics. Also, obviously looks kind of cool. This is my favorite color available on Toyota models currently. It's the Blizzard Pearl. So it's a white, but it's got a really pretty sparkle to it. Unfortunately, it was a premium cost, which I think is kind of silly that they'd charge more for it, but it is a really pretty color. And then it was also a premium to have the two-tone configuration with the black roof and then the white down below. Again, I think it looks really cool. I don't think it should cost more to have that distinction, but it does. This is our charge port right here on the driver's side. Standard outlet and then direct current for fast charging. The camera's got panoramic view monitoring, so we've got camera down below here. We've got a front view camera on the back, so it gives you kind of that bird's eye view. We got lots of parking sensors, LED tail lights, which have a pretty cool look at night. And then likewise up front, we've got the LED daytime running lights and headlights. Another feature that's pretty cool is this split spoiler on the rear end. Gives it a very sporty, modern look. And then we also get the panoramic sunroof up top here. Give you another look inside. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool looking vehicle, particularly in the limited configuration, despite being controversial. Looking inside, you'll see that the interior is pretty controversial as well, particularly with this steering wheel instrument cluster design. And I'm still not quite sure what I think about it, but my general feeling is I would have gone with something more traditional if I'd been Toyota. The steering wheel is super small, and rather than looking through the steering wheel to see your instrument cluster like on pretty much any other vehicle, you actually look over the top at it. So it's a different feel for sure. I'm getting used to it, but it is definitely a little weird. In the center here, we've got a nice large display. I believe it's 12.3 inches. It's very similar overall layout and configuration to the Tundra. And so it's been really easy to get used to it because it's, essentially the same system. I do feel like this, center console here is a little busy with all of the buttons, and there's certain things that are just a little more complicated than they need to be. For example, like the audio controls, you've got the power button here in the middle and then your volume on either side that you increase or decrease. I would have preferred to just have your traditional knob that you push in to turn it on and off, and turn left to turn it down, turn it to the right to turn it up. It's easier to control while you're driving down the road without having to try to focus and see exactly where you're pressing. And just, in general, I feel like all of this could have been a little bit cleaner. I really, like the design that they did on the Tundra, and I would have preferred to see something a little bit more similar here. But given this is an electric vehicle, they're trying to, make it a little more modern, I guess. You get that with the gear shifter as well. Here in the middle, we've got wireless charging for your cell phone. Again, with this being the limited model, we get your, pleather seats, which I wanted so that they'd be easy to clean as opposed to cloth. Dashboard is also interesting. You'll see that the fabric on here is kind of almost like a cloth material. Looks okay. Hopefully it stays clean without too much trouble. And you'll see that the dashboard in general just has a lot going on. It's definitely a little busy. Not bad, just different. The position when you're sitting here is a little different too. Your head is pretty close to the ceiling, so I think this would be a hard vehicle to drive if you're taller, especially because when you're sitting on the driver's side, you've got to look above the steering wheel, so you've got to drop this down, you've got to be able to see over it, but you also, need to have enough room for your head. So I'd say that it worked for, your average height person, but probably not someone that's taller. And then you see you've got the sunroof up above. This is a little weird too. We've got this bar here in the middle. So the glass is actually continuous up here. I can actually stick my hand in there. But for some reason, we've got this bar, probably for structural integrity or something, but it would have been nice if that glass was continuous. Looking in the rear, you'll see I've already got car seats in and there's plenty of legroom, so that won't be a problem. And then we've got another view of the sunroof here. And then coming around to the back, we've got our electronic hatch. And it's actually quite spacious back here. You will see that the design of the vehicle kind of cuts down on, the vertical space that's available. But there's a lot of room in here nonetheless. It's going to be plenty of room for, strollers and groceries and, luggage when you go on trips. So I don't see that being a problem. And then we've got the privacy cover that's built in here too. So that's just a quick look at the BZ4X. Obviously, a lot more videos will be coming in the future to give you more of the specifics on the vehicle and the overall rundown. One thing I do want to mention real quick before I end today's video is I just want to give a shout out to Klamath Falls Toyota. They have been awesome to work with in the last several months. Buying the BZ4X was a pleasure with Klamath Falls Toyota. Those of you guys that are regulars on the channel know that I ran into an issue with my Tundra as well, where I wasn't able to get warranty coverage locally. Took it into them and they were willing to go the extra step to work with Toyota to try to get me coverage on the Tundra, which they eventually did. And so really have earned a lot of my respect, and I highly recommend them if you are in the market for a new Toyota. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're curious to learn more about the BZ4X, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.